with the third read. We go to the third read. Where is our PowerPoint? Here. Okay, third read. Here is it, girls. You see my PowerPoint?
Yes.
A woman's wartime journal. What's a woman's wartime journal? So now what are we going to do? We are going to understand text. You understand the synthesis essay, right?
Yes.
We took synthesis
Yes.
essay, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
here, read the excerpt from Cold Mountain a third time, then read a woman's wartime journal. What themes or topics connect to the two texts? So the text we are going to read now is somehow related to the Inman's text. It's a woman's wartime journal, a woman's wartime journal by Dolly Summerland.
Can I
Her
read?
picture, yes, read please, Dima. Her picture is with the picture that you see. Yes, Dima.
A woman's wartime journal. An account of the passage over a Georgia plantation of Sherman's army on the march to the sea, as recorded in the diary of Dolly Sumner Lunt. I walked to the gate. There lay.
I want you to read from the PowerPoint first.
Okay. She moved. A woman's wartime journal, Dolly Sumner Lunt. She moved south to be with her married sister in Covington, Georgia.
Yeah.
She met her husband Thomas Burge and settled into life on his plantation. Although related to a staunch
Abolitionist is the person who wanted to end slavery. She was related to him, a popular one. His name was Charles Sumner. It means she was related to someone who opposes slavery.
Charles Sumner, the new Mrs. Burge, established herself into the Southern way of life, with slaves on Thomas Burge's plantation. When her husband died in 1858, she managed the plantation herself. Dolly began her diary on January 1, 1864. She worried about the Sherman's army, and despite her best efforts to hide her valuables, the Union soldiers raided her house and took her slaves. Still, most of her plantation was saved, unlike the homes of most of her neighbors. Her diary was not published until 1918. You can see and read copies of her published diary at the Library of Congress website.
So what is the story of this woman? She went to she lived in the southern, and the southern was with which side, girls? Southern with slavery. She lived there, and but she was related to someone who opposes slavery. So she was a farm, as we can say. She had slaves, she had animals, herds, flocks, and this. And then what happened? She worried a lot about the approach of General Sherman's army. The army is coming. Which army? Civil War. And they used to go, and when they enter a place, they burn it at all. They steal it and burn it. So she worried a lot about the approach of this army. Okay, girls?
Okay.
So she wrote a diary, a woman's wartime journal. She wrote it, an account of Sherman's devastation of a southern plantation. Okay? By Dolly Summerland. She wrote her diary. Okay?
Okay.
Betul, are you here, ya Betul?
Miss, can I read?
Yeah, okay, read, dear. Okay, thank you, Dima. Read, dear Maya. From Burge begins her diary.
Which line?
PowerPoint.
Okay.
She begins her diary, a woman's wartime journal.
Yeah, wait, I'm just
the beginning, published in 1918 by voice.
Okay.
Second line, start from the second line.
By voicing her
Anxiety.
and
Anxiety.
anxiety about the approach of General Sherman's Northern Army on January 1, 1864, while she worries over the arrival of Sherman's troops and their habit of pillaging and burning everything in their path. She records stories of visits by local raiders posing as U.S. soldiers and the sleepless nights she has spent watching fires on the horizon. Despite Burge's efforts to hide her valuable possessions, while include sending her mules into the woods, dividing her stores of meat among the slaves, and burying the silver, the passing Union troops raid her house and plantation, taking her slaves with them. They also set fire to cotton bales in her barn. The blaze burns out before spreading. So, Burge's property is largely spared the
So
war.
they lit fire in her barn, but the blaze, the beginning of the fire burns out before it's spread. So that's why half of her property was saved.
So, Burge's property is largely spared the widespread destruction suffered by neighboring plantations. In Burge's last
Interest?
entries, dated dated December 1865, she
Yes.
writes optimistically
Yes.
about the recovery of her farm, her new sharecropping system, and the first cheerful Christmas in years.
Yes. So now you understand when did she write this journal?
Yes,
Yes.
When when the general of the Northern Army was approaching. She lived in the southern when the general of Southern or Northern Army was approaching her, and she was so afraid that they burn everything on their way. Okay? So, Linda, can you read?
Yes. From the
I
book.
walk. Yes.
I walked to the gate. There they, Union
Union
soldiers,
soldiers, those who don't want to end the slavery. Union, Union soldiers, those who want to end slavery. They came from the north and she lived in the south.
came filing up. I hastened back to my frightened servants and told them that they had better hide, and then went back to the gate to claim protection and a guard. But like
But
demons,
like demons, demons like the devils.
they rush in. My yards are full. To my smokehouse, my dairy, pantry, kitchen, and cellar, like fierce wolves, they come, breaking locks and whatever is in their way. The 1,000 pounds of meat in my smokehouse is gone in a twinkling.
Yes,
My
they took
flour,
everything. They took the meat, my flour, my meat, my lard, butter, eggs, pickles of various kinds. Everything was vanished in a second, huh?
both in vinegar and brine wines, jars and jugs are all gone. My
Yes.
18 fat
Because
turkeys
plantation girls is a very big farm.
My
Huh.
18 fat turkeys, my hens, chicken and fowls, my young pigs and are shut down in my yard and hunted as if they were rebels themselves.
Yes, they
As
cut them. They killed them as if those were rebels. Those who were the rebels, those people who rebelled from the Union, the Southern people, those who wanted to keep slavery.
utterly powerless, I ran out and appealed to the guard. I cannot help you, madam. It is orders. As I stood there from my lot I saw driven first Old Dutch, my dear old buggy horse, who has carried my beloved husband so many miles and who would so quietly wait at the block for him to mount and dismount, and who at last drew him to his grave. Then
So
came
she looked at her beautiful horse that used to carry her husband to work and from work, and at the end he carried him to his grave.
then came old Mary, my brood mare,
Mare, my brood mare is the horse's wife,
who for years had been too old and stiff for work, with her 3-year-old colt,
baby
my
horse.
two my 2-year-old mule and her
baby
last
cow, a mule, baby horse, donkey. يعني when horse and donkey marry, they get mule.
little baby colt. There they go. There go my mules, my sheep, and worse than all, my
My
boys.
boys, the
Slaves.
slaves.
Teacher, why
Even the slaves,
are
they
they
took
doing
them.
this?
A war.
But the people
It's a
didn't
war.
do anything.
Yes, but this is a war. As
Mm.
she says to you, they kill them as if they are the rebels themselves.
Oh,
We are reading the other side of the civil war. Yani we understand those who were Abraham Lincoln, and he was on the side of ending slavery, and this is a side of not ending slavery. The woman who lived in her plantation with her animals and slaves, and the Union, the Northern Army came and took everything. Okay, thank you, Linda. Judy, Nancy.
Miss Kennedy, um, Miss, you called me?
Yes, Nancy.
Okay.
25,
A
Nancy.
captain, a
Yes.
Captain Weber from Illinois,
Illinois.
Illinois came into my house. Of him I claimed protection from the vandals who were forcing themselves
Yes,
into my.
vandals are those who spoilers, those who spoil my house.
He said that he knew my brother Orrington, the late Orrington Lunt, as well known early settler of Chicago. At that name I could not restrain my feelings, but, bursting into tears, implored him to see my brother and let him know my destitution. I saw nothing before me but starvation. He promised to do this, and comforted me with the assurance that my dwelling house would not be burned, though my outbuildings might. Poor
Yes,
little
yani we will burn the outbuildings, but your main house will not be burned.
Poor little Sarai, the writer's daughter, went crying to him as to a friend, and told him that they had taken her doll Nancy. He begged her
See, Nancy's reading and she now reads her name.
he begged her to come and see him, and he would give her a fine waxen one. He felt for me, and I give him and several others the character of gentlemen. I don't believe they would have molested women and
Yes,
children.
molested is to harass women and children. I don't believe they would have harassed them and know them.
Had they
Continue.
had they had their own way. He seemed surprised that I had not laid away in my house flour and other provisions. I did not suppose I could secure them there, other than where I usually kept them, for in last summer's raid houses were thoroughly searched, and parting with him I parted as with a friend.
Yes. So, uh, she is telling us about when the army came into her house. Okay? So,
Yes.
how this is similar or in any way close to Inman's story? I
They're
will
both
ask you some
describing
questions. Listen, I will ask you some questions, and when we answer, we will understand. This is the first one. Tia, read it, ya Tia.
Yes, Miss.
Read it, the first question.
Who is the narrator in A Woman's Wartime Journal?
Hmm. The woman, the narrator now. Who was the narrator now? The Diary of who? طب who is she يعني she's a woman, she lived where?
teacher, do we answer or you choose
Yes,
one?
please, I want
Uh,
Tia answer يا Tia. طب who knows?
Me.
Answer please.
The narrator is Dolly Sumner Lunt, right?
Yes, yes, she
And
is a woman. Hmm?
yeah, a woman during wartime, and she lives in Georgia
Yes,
in her own plantation.
yes,
Yeah, that's it.
yes, excellent. Who's talking?
Jane.
لجين read يا لجين.
The narrator is a woman, a mother, and a plantation owner. She explains events that happened to her.
Yes, excellent. So the second question, Leah, are you here, Leah? Leah?
Yes, miss.
Yes, read the question.
How does the narrator act as the Union soldiers steal her belongings?
Yes, how did she act? We just read it. She
bursted into tears.
in tears, and she went to what? She went to the guard.
She was panicking.
Yes, she was panicked. She panicked. She cried. She panicked. She went to the guard to what?
For help?
Huh?
She pleaded.
Yes, she asked him, please, to not burn the house. The guard, right?
Yes.
Yes, and to the captain. She went to the captain. She sought protection. So read it. Leah, read it.
She watches helplessly and then appeals first to the guard and then to Captain Weber for protection.
Yes, the third question, Aya Hisham.
How do Lance's memories of her husband show her appreciation and love for Old Dutch?
What are the things she remembered relating to her husband? Related to her husband?
About the horse.
Yes, who's answering?
Me, Dima.
Dima, yes, yeah, Dima. About the horse. What did she say about the horse?
She said that she remembered how the horse rode her husband to work.
Yes.
Fit for work.
Yes.
With
Girls,
her
are you
At fifth
following? Do you
grade.
understand the story or not? It's so easy, right?
yes.
Yes.
Yes, so when she, as Dima says, when she fondly remembers the horse, read Dima.
She fondly remembers how the horse served her husband well and even carried him to his grave. This makes the loss of this animal feel like the loss of a friend who would be forever missed.
Okay, so now turn the page 54, please. Focus on synthesizing text. Okay, Lean, read يا Lean, page 54. Lean الحاج.
Miss Nada,
Yes,
can you hear me now?
yes. Who are you?
Manish, when you Judy, when you
Oh,
called my name, I didn't plug my earphones in. That's why you couldn't hear me.
okay, Ahad. Ahad? Ahad, maybe this is the fifth time or fifth class you don't answer me. So I'm sorry, Ahad. You WhatsApp me now or anything to prove you're here. And Ahad? Okay. So Malak Al-Haj, please read يا Malak 54.
Teacher, you talk to me?
Ahad?
Yes, I'm here.
Where are you, Ahad? You don't participate, you don't read, you don't do anything. Are you on your bed?
No, teacher, والله, I swear.
I want the truth.
Okay, I'll open the camera.
Turn on the camera. It's okay, Ahad, but just يعني participate يا Ahad. I'm not used for your silence. Okay? I like it when you participate there and I hear your voice.
Do you see me?
No, I don't. I will now.
Yeah.
I want to see you. Yeah, I miss you all. Are you? Where are you? No, I can't. So anyway, Lean, read يا Lean.
Miss page 54.
Yes, Lean.
Okay. Synthesizing ideas
Please
from
don't
different
participate.
texts.
I asked you before, can I read? And you didn't hear me. So.
I didn't hear. Yes. So after Lean, you read. Hi, Lean.
Synthesizing ideas from different texts is an important skill for college and career writing. What
Yeah, you're on
similarities
1 year to college now.
What similarities do you see between Inman's and Mrs. Blunt's experiences during the Civil War? Consider the personalities of Inman and Dolly, Inman's interactions with soldiers and doctors, and Dolly's encounters with Union soldiers and their commanding officer. What theme do the expert do the
Excerpt.
ex, excerpt, and Risher record the similarities between the two selections in the following graphic organizer.
So the first one he asks, literary elements, the literary elements, the characters. Characters, motivation, moral dilemma, and conflict. Let's see the characters first. In Cold Mountain, يعهد, who is the character in Cold Mountain? Arwa? Who is the character in Cold Mountain? Ahad or Arwa? Aya Banjak, who is the character in Cold Mountain?
Miss Arwa's mind, she's telling you.
Inman?
Yes, Inman. Inman Yahad. The character in Cold Mountain is Inman. Who is the character in a woman's wartime journal? Aya Hisham.
It's the Dolly Sumner.
Dolly Sumner, yes. Uh, who is Inman? Who is Inman, Aya Banjak? Is a what? Who is Inman, ya Judy?
He's a soldier.
He is a wounded soldier. Excellent. Who is Dolly, Yehuda?
Smith.
Who is Dolly?
Is the woman that was in the and شو اسمه all her belongings were gone and like that.
Yes. Yes. A woman whose or her belongings are stolen by the Union soldiers. So these are written in your book. Let's see the second one. Setting, historical, social, and economic influence. This happens in when does it happen? The two stories when they happened. Sham Aqil. The two stories when they happened, ya Sham. Serena. The two stories when they did happen.
After the war.
In the Civil War. Both of them during the Civil War. Right?
Yeah.
Ilma's story happened where? In a what?
In the hospital.
In the hospital. Dolly's story happened where?
In the war.
Yes, where? Where in the war? When is a war? Where?
In her house.
In her house. Excellent, Yataya. In her plantation. Okay, Sarah. Sarah.
Miss, are you sharing the screen?
No. I will share the screen after I finish because we discuss it further, then I show you the answer.
Okay. So we don't try it now, right?
No, don't write it. Don't write anything. I upload for you the presentation. بدور مريم شغدلي سارة مريم شغدلي لجين.
Yes, miss.
Yes, yeah, Lujain. In the plot, in events to which character react, resulting in more actions and events. He reacted to what? Inman, at his story, he reacted to what? What is the problem he faced at the beginning of the story? And then he reacted to it.
Miss, I didn't read the first story. This one.
Okay, so who knows, girls? Mary Muhammad?
Yes, he reacted to his injury because he had a bad injury.
Yes, he reacted, Yalujain, to his injury because he was wounded from the war. So he reacted to his injuries. How did he react it?
He was
Patiently. He patiently reacted to his injuries.
Oh, because they thought he was going to die?
Yes.
He was calm?
Yes. About the woman, about Dolly, she had to react to what? She is a southern woman. She had to react to?
The soldiers raiding her house.
Yes, to the Union Army. Because the Union Army was approaching her plantation.
Yes,
Right, girls?
Yes.
she wrote a diary.
Yes, and she wrote a diary about the anxiety expecting the army coming to her plantation, burning everything. Are you following me, girls?
Yes,
Yes.
This time, this literature, this year's literature is different than any year because this depends on understanding and analyzing. That is wonderful about this book. Okay, so you work your mind more than you read and memorize. You never memorize in literature. So anything comes up to your mind, just say it. It will be the answer.
yes,
The answers are easy because they depend on your understanding. So answer me anything you understand. There is no wrong answer.
okay.
Okay.
So the theme, the central idea, veiled by character and the setting and the plot. The two themes, the two stories has one clear theme. It's about what? What is so common between them?
The
War
effects of
affects
war.
everyone.
Excellent. War affects everyone. The two sides of the war, Inman, the woman, a soldier, and a common person. War changes the life of people. War, so this is the theme that I understand, that if a soldier is wounded and he cannot go back to his hometown, a woman is in her hometown but she suffers the army coming to her. So the two sides are suffering. So war does what?
Mm,
Changes, huh?
lives of people.
Their lives.
A person's life.
Yes, it changes the lives of people. Okay, so here is it. Here is it, guys. Understand, girls?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, you don't want any questions to discuss anything about the Civil War? So these are told from the two sides. Inman from the Northern Army and Dolly is from a Southern people, from Southern common people.
Miss Nada.
Yes, dear.
Miss Nada, from line 25 I wasn't with you لأنه my computer مدريش يوصل له. Can you just make a summary of what happened?
From line 25 in Dolly's story?
Yeah.
From line 24. Read it يا هدى quickly.
لحالي ولا
Yes,
أريد؟
with me. Huh?
A Captain Webber from Illinois
Illinois
came.
came. This is the captain that she begged, please protect. She claimed protection from him. Continue.
Into my house. Of him I claimed protection from the vandals who were forcing themselves into my room.
The
He said,
spoilers, she sought protection from him to save her from those who spoiled the house.
yeah, he said that he knew my brother Orrington, the late Orrington Lunt, a well-known early settler of Chicago.
He knows that her brother is a settler in Chicago. He is a well-known one.
Yeah. At that name, I could not restrain my feelings, but bursting into tears,
She cried.
implored him to see my brother and let him know my destitution. I saw nothing before me but starvation.
Yes, destitution is when you are so poor that you lose all the money you have, and she saw nothing but starvation. She will be starving to death after they kill all the animals in the plantation.
He promised to do this and comforted me with the assurance that my dwelling house would not be burned, though my outbuildings might. Poor little Sadai, the writer's daughter, went crying to him as to a friend and told him that they had taken her doll, Nancy. He begged her to come and see him, and he would give her a fine waxen one. He felt for me, and I give him several others the character of gentleman. I don't believe they would have
Molested,
women.
they will harass or annoy the women and the children.
Yeah, and children had they had their own way. He seemed surprised that I had not laid away in my house flour and other provisions. I did not suppose I could secure them there more than where I usually kept them, for in the last summer's raid, houses were thoroughly searched. In parting with him, I parted as with a friend.
He wondered that she didn't hide all the provisions of the house, like the flour, like the food, like everything, as other neighbors do, because they scare that they will come and take everything.
Perhaps she didn't hide them.
But she didn't expect that all of that will happen.
Ah, okay. Thank you.
So you understand it, all girls?
Yes.
Yeah.
No questions?
No.
No.
Okay, what do we have tomorrow? Yes, we finish. We will have literature also tomorrow, right?